okay. Chitrakshi, when we are ready, please tell us to start. We will do that.
Yes, so people are coming in, then I'll just tell you.
Yeah. So,
So we can start.
okay. Thank you. I think you started recording, huh? Yeah. Okay, then. Thank you very much, Chitrakshi. Thank you, Bhumadi. I think friends and colleagues. In fact, I should say, bhaiyo, behno, mitro. That's a way of addressing people. Welcome to the 116th webinar of INHAF series on rethinking cities. As many of you know, we've been running this webinar series now for close to 3 years. And today's webinar is on enhancing biodiversity through landscaping in cities for better living. I thought this is perhaps one of the longest title of any of our webinars. And we look forward to listening to highly respected 3 individuals on the subject. I personally, Justin Saab, look forward to learning from this session. I really do. Before we get going and before I even introduce you to this webinar series, let me first thank my friend Justin Mohan Saab, from whom over the years I have learned a lot. He's a very special kind of a government officer and very special kind of an individual that being with him, interacting with him, sharing things with him is always a special experience. I hope, Justin Saab, you agree with me. I know he works very hard and is extremely busy, but I have been pursuing him for a long time for this webinar, and I'm really happy that it is happening today. It took long, but I'm very glad it's happening today. And I must also use this opportunity to thank Dr. Monalisa Sen, who's a senior program officer, program coordinator on biodiversity with ICLEI, South Asia office. And I'd also like to extend my grateful thanks to Dr. Debendra Dalai, who is an INHAF officer and additional principal chief conservator of forests with the governor of Arunachal Pradesh. It's a small group, but a group from four different corners of the country, and I'm sure we're going to kind of have something very interesting to listen to. Before I hand this mic to Justin Saab to moderate the session, let me tell you very briefly why we have been organizing this webinars on rethinking city for the past 3 years. As you probably know, under this webinar series, we have had something like 500 professionals, experts, urban experts, solution makers from all over the world participating and talking and sharing their views and ideas and perspectives. And we have dealt with something like 45 to 50 themes and sub-themes of urbanization. And it's been very, very valuable learning experience for all of us. And I must tell you that this particular exercise, we are not only, I think, putting the webinars together, we're also making knowledge products out of this. We already have produced a book on cities and conservation, and second book on cities and economy is in the making. So we are trying to use this enormous amount of wisdom which is being stored in this webinars. But I must tell you why we are doing this in greater detail, a little more detail, because that is the important part of the message. The underlying rationale and immediate purpose of this webinar series is to germinate seeds of and contribution to building an operational societal partnership of multiple stakeholders to prepare for and respond to a difficult urban challenge. And Dr. Monalisa will agree with me. It is based on a deeply felt concern that India's urban challenge is very complex and highly daunting. And we as people, we as government, we as professional, we as civil society have not understood its dimensions adequately. And that is what is reflecting in the kind of cities that we have. Take anything. Take rivers, take water, take governance, take finance, take slums, take housing. We are saddled with extremely difficult challenges. And it is our conviction that these challenges are so daunting and so difficult that unless we put together a wider societal partnership, we won't be able to go very far. And I personally believe and go on saying this, that India's urban challenge is much more complex than even the climate challenge. Climate change, we do not know what it is, what will it do. We have an images, but we know what urban challenge we do if we don't manage it properly. Just take two examples. Take the statistics of population growth. We are about 400 million people in the cities. We are talking about 870 million people by 2050. In 27 years, we're talking about adding 400 million people to urban population. We'll have to provide them housing and jobs and infrastructures and services. How are we going to do it? Are we prepared for it? Look at that. Let me take another example. World Bank and Government of India, the Ahluwalia Committee has noted that if you wanted to kind of meet India's infrastructure deficit over a period of next 20 years, you require something of the order of $630 billion. Now, compare that figure with the figure I'll give you just now. That under JNNURM, one of the better managed urban infrastructure investment program in this country, in 10 years, under that program, we invested only $14 billion, that to huffing and puffing. We're talking about need of $630 billion over a period of 10 to 20 years and not being able to manage 14 billion over a period of 10 years. Just look at the extent and the nature of the challenge that we have. And therefore, this entire series that we are running is to, and probably this is the only series that has ever happened in the last 70 years, which is taking urban issue to people, urban issue on a public platform. He said, look at your water, look at your cities, look at your river, look at your environment. And Ordinary solutions are not going to work. We will need to be very innovative in finding those solutions because we don't have time. And we just can't afford conventional solution to our challenge. So it is in that context that we are doing this. We are dealing with large number of subjects, and therefore biodiversity is something which we thought we will request people who are dealing with it on a substantial scale to come back and tell us what is biodiversity in the context of India's urban challenge, and how can we use that productively to see that our cities are better, our cities are people friendly, our cities are environmentally sustainable. So that's my introduction, Justin Saab. That's the big goal, and that's a big ambition. You can't really ask me as that how far have we reached in this particular effort, but we certainly are making enormous and conscious and committed effort to at least articulate what the issues are. With that introduction, over to you, and we look forward to listening to three of you with a lot of expectation. Thank you very much, and thank you again, all three of you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kirti Sab. You have been always an inspiration for all of us. First of all, let me congratulate INHAF and the entire team chaired by you for doing a wonderful work. More than 100 webinars on different topics for development of our cities and urban areas is not a small thing. It's a great achievement, and I'm sure that the city planners, architects, engineers, and of course the bureaucrats, policymakers who are listening or who had a chance to see your programs would have immensely benefited from all your webinars. And I'm also thankful that you have included biodiversity as an important component whenever there is a city planning. And I'm sure that today, two eminent speakers who have excelled in their field are going to share their thoughts, their practical experiences on how they have been dealing with biodiversity in the cities. Otherwise, biodiversity conservation, we normally focus on forests or on aquatic bodies or in agriculture fields. But here we are going to speak on how biodiversity can be conserved in an urban landscape. So without taking much time, we'll just hear the first speaker, that is Mr. Debendra Dalai. He belongs to the 1999 batch of the Indian Forest Service. He belongs to the AGMUT cadre, the Union Territories cadre, and he has extensively worked in Andaman Nicobar Islands, Daman and Diu, Goa, Chandigarh, and now presently he is working in Arunachal Pradesh as the additional principal chief conservator of forests. But during his journey in the Indian Forest Service for more than 25 years, a major work or major contribution happened when he was the chief conservator of forests and de facto secretary of the forest department in Chandigarh. There, he has done excellent work. So that is why I thought that we should have Mr. Debendra Dalai, because Chandigarh, you know, is like a model city for the country, where he has chipped in with his own ideas, where he has converted some wasteland, abandoned wasteland, into a beautiful plantation. He has also brought in a bird park, an orchidarium, and so on. I don't want to explain what he has done. So he has come up with a very beautiful presentation. So we'll hear his presentation, and I'm sure that at the end of the presentation, we'll have some Q&A. Based on the time, we'll decide whether to have the next speaker or to have the question and answers together, or at the end of each session. That we will decide during the course of the presentation. Mr. Debendra Dalai, over to you. We warmly welcome you to this program. It has a vast audience because they put this program in their Facebook and YouTube also. I'm sure that the experience sharing which you are going to present today is going to immensely benefit not only the forest officers, but also all those who are involved in biodiversity conservation, and particularly the policymakers and the bureaucrats, whenever they are going to plan for any development activity in the cities or urban areas, I'm sure that these presentations are going to immensely help them to also include biodiversity as an important component for city planning. Over to you, Mr. Debendra Dalai.
Thank you, Mr. Justin Mohan. Can you please see my presentation?
Yeah, it is very much visible, audible. Maybe you can
Okay.
make it into a screen show, screen.
And very beautiful one.
Yeah, very beautifully. Now it is fine, perfectly fine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Le Corbusier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Justin Mohan. Thank you, Kirti sir, also for giving me this opportunity to speak on such a before such a August gathering. And this is such a wonderful forum. I'm really privileged to be part of this webinar. It's really a Herculean task that you have done more than 100 webinar series on such a beautiful subjects. Even I could get to know from today's introduction also how challenging is this urban planning is. Definitely, we deal with only one part of it, that is the landscape part or maybe the biodiversity part. But there are many other aspects associated with this urban planning. This is definitely going to be interesting. But what I'm going to talk about today is basically my own experience that I had during my posting in Chandigarh. Like Mr. Justin Mohan said, I was there from 2018 to 2023 for 5 years, including maybe 2.5 years of COVID period. Within that period, whatever little transformation we could do, little maybe some contribution that we could make as a team in Chandigarh. We had a very small team. Chandigarh, of course, is not a very large city. It is only 114 square kilometers area city. Besides, some forest areas are there. So whatever we could make some contribution during that period of 4-5 years, I'm going to share. This urban landscaping, as we understand, that urban landscaping is a multifaceted concept that goes beyond mere aesthetic enhancements. It plays a pivotal role in the functioning and sustainability of our urban environment. At its core, urban landscaping involves the planning, that is meticulous planning, design, and maintenance of green space, plants, and other natural elements within city boundary. This is, of course, known to everyone. I'll not elaborate on these aspects. So this is just one street of Chandigarh. Everybody must have seen this. That Chandigarh is a beautifully designed city. It's a modern city created post 47 partition. The basic purpose of creating this city was to make Chandigarh as the capital of East Punjab when India and Pakistan got separated in 47. So Punjab had no capital, so the then government thought that will make Chandigarh will make a very beautiful and modern city, and will make this city as the capital of Punjab way back in 1958. So the basic goal of this urban landscaping is the visually appealing environment. It is known to everybody. I am just reiterating these points. Uplifting the spirits of the people. I have lived in that city for 5 years. I have realized this fact. How the place also makes an impact on your health, on your mind, on the spirituality, everything. Now I'm in Arunachal. To be very honest with you, whenever my family they still reside in Chandigarh, whenever I go to Chandigarh, every day step count will be around 10,000, but here it will be very less. I try to make it up when I go home. I try to make beyond 10,000 also. The point is, looking at the place where you live, it has an impact. Overall environment has an impact on you. So it will uplift the spirit of the people. Of course, better air quality, the quality of air also it matters, because see, any city if you want to buy a property in a congested city, definitely people will look for all modern amenities. Besides that, the environmental health of the environment. whether the air quality is good or not, whether the water quality is good or not, whether the waste management is good or not. All those factors also, it factors in when we think of getting settled in any of the city or living in any city. Then mitigating the effects of the heat island. These are all the very common terms these days. Lot of concretization takes place. Maybe the proper development we don't do proper planning. As a result, these heat islands are uh, created in the within the city boundary. Then the reducing the pollution, reduce energy consumption, provide space for social interaction. See, more the number of the green space, parks, and all such places, there are opportunities for the people for having the social interaction. And I myself, I am witness to it. Wherever there are spaces like Sukna Lake, you must have heard. A lot of people come for walk in the morning to Sukna Lake, and it is besides just a walk, it will be a chit chat, maybe sharing of some experience, this, that, all those things also take place. Until unless we have these common spaces in the urban areas, there is no social interaction, and this will definitely have a good impact on the social fabric of the city also. Then, of course, the economic growth. More is the green the city is, definitely more business will come up there, more people will start living there. So all kinds of economic activities will start taking place, and of course tourism is also one of the important component. So this is Chandigarh. Chandigarh is popularly known as the city beautiful, and as I said, it is just 114 square kilometer area with additional 26 square kilometer of one wildlife sanctuary. So it is in all, it is 140 square kilometer, and this is the capital of two states, that is Punjab and as well as Haryana. Initially, it was created for the purpose of making it as a capital of Punjab, but by the time it got completed, entire Punjab was separated into three states, that is Himachal, Haryana, and Punjab. Then Simla was made the capital of Himachal, and Punjab and Haryana, they could not resolve who is going to take over. So it is the common capital of both the states of Haryana as well as Punjab. So this is a very common picture. You must have seen, this is sector 9 area. Very common picture of the basic purpose of showing this. The next slide I'll show you. This is a very common. If you Google also of Chandigarh, this is a very common picture. It will be available to everybody on net. But this many people may not be knowing. This is also Chandigarh. It is a very surprising factor to the viewers and the audience, those who are there. This is Chandigarh. Nobody can believe, even some local residents of Chandigarh also, they can't trust this picture that this is Chandigarh. When you are talking about, it is just 1 million population, 10 lakhs, 12 lakhs population, 114 square kilometer area, and this is such a thick forest is there in the periphery of Chandigarh. This is the map of Chandigarh. The area that I showed you is this. This is Sukna Wildlife Sanctuary. This is Sukna Lake. Then we have got few forest patches here. Then some plantations on the southern side, bordering Mohali area. But in between all these sectors, every sector has plantations. It has got green space. In all, 1800 total parks are there in every sectors. Total altogether, 1800 parks are there. Greenery are all around, but these are all the notified forest areas. The green space that we see. This is also very interesting information for all the audience, that in spite of the fact this is just a city, we have got two wildlife sanctuary within the city limit. This is very hard to believe that one wildlife sanctuary is 2598. It is almost like 26 square kilometer. This is on the catchment of Sukna Lake. And Sukna, you know, Sukna is the lifeline of the city, that is Chandigarh. And you know, this is, since this is part of the Shivalik region, Shivalik is a hill which has got very less of rocks and boulders. It is more of a only soil. So a lot of erosion used to take place. Maybe this sanctuary, had it not been declared in 98, by now the Sukna Lake would have become maybe a cricket or football field. So this has helped a lot in checking soil erosion and keeping the Sukna Lake also in good health, because water conservation as well as the soil conservation, it helps. But at the same time, we have got good richness of flora. This is also a picture only from Sukna Wildlife Sanctuary. So these are all the few photographs of the sanctuary. This is the floral diversity, faunal diversity. These are only the sambar that is close to the lake, but we have got on the top of the food chain, we have even leopard also. Leopard also during this COVID, because everywhere there were lockdown kind of situation. One leopard also, they came right into the city in sector 5. We could tranquilize and send it back to the original habitat. There is another small bird sanctuary. Bird sanctuary. It is not bird park, Mr. Justin Mohan. I'll come to it later. This is a bird sanctuary. Is under wildlife protection. It is declared. It is just a 3 hectare of area. But the surprising factor of this bird sanctuary is maybe during evening time, between twilight period 5:30 6 o'clock, lakhs of parakeets, Alexandria parakeets, they come and congregate here in this area 3 hectare, and just right across the boundary of the city, you will have habitations. Lot of hassle and bustles of the city is there. In spite of that, this is a very well protected 3 hectare area, and lot of birds, chirpings of the birds, you can see it in the evening time. And this is the parakeet, Alexandria parakeet. So in order to improve the green cover of the city, I'm not talking about only the forest area, but even outside the forest area also, lot of efforts are taken by the department that is preserving and protecting the forest and wildlife. Whatever forest area is there, that we protect. Then the important factor is, the second factor is the creating awareness among local people of Chandigarh about the protection of flora and fauna. So this is a very important component. In case we want to maintain this greenery, we have to involve people. We have to make them as an important stakeholder. When we take them on board, then only our job and our work becomes easier. They also own it. Because, in Chandigarh, one felling of one tree for a genuine purpose also, they need approval from the administration, which is not a very easy task. You don't get the permit so easily to cut a tree, even to prune the branches also. So that is the level of awareness that people have. They will not trim the branches until and unless they get a legal permit from the administration. Then undertaking plantation, of course, these are all our regular activities. Then soil moisture conservation that I said in the Sukna Wildlife Sanctuary in order to protect the lake down below. So if you see, there is exponential growth in greenery. In 2001, it was 26%, and in 2021, these are the figures given by Forest Survey of India. It's a Government of India organization. They do the satellite imagery study, and this is the growth from 2001 to 2021. If you see, from 26%, it has become almost double. And in spite of the fact that the population has also grown, in spite of the fact that the number of housing has also exponentially it has grown, in spite of the fact there are more pressure on the roads also. So from every aspect, there is always a pressure on the land resources. In spite of that, it is only because of the people's participation. This is the growth, not in only the notified forest area, but also outside the forest area. Wherever there are green space, wherever there are space created for parks, people have planted trees there. Wherever there are schools, wherever there are colleges, wherever there is space, people have resorted to the green activities there. So this is the figure, both in the forest area as well as the tree outside forest. It is almost like 70 square kilometer out of 140. This is Greening Chandigarh Action Plan. What do we do? It is not only the forest department. We pull 3 departments together. One is the municipality, one is the forest department. Of course, is the main department. The steering department is the forest department. Then engineering department. So whatever land it is under the position of the engineering department or the PWD department. Whatever is the land under municipality, they also have a horticulture wing altogether. So these three departments together, we plan for the entire year. What should be our plan? It is not only the plantations, but besides plantations also, in case any other greening activities also to be taken up. So one plan with the approval of the governor, it is prepared, it is released, and every department, other than the department also, even the NGOs, non-government organizations, schools, colleges, everybody is given some target under this plan, and everybody put their hands together in order to protect the city. So it is a multi-stakeholders approach. It is not only the baby of the only forest department to maintain the greenery of the city. Even we take the citizens also on board, like uh, this welfare association, resident welfare association, RWS. We also take them on board. They also very enthusiastically participate during our one Mahotsav. They plant trees on gardens. They plant trees on the common lands and all those. Involving school children also, we take up plantations. We have got around 150 odd eco clubs, and they're all very active. All environment days and all they celebrate. It is not only on paper, even on ground also they come down to join hands with the administration. Different stakeholders, like here again, some school teachers we call them, sometimes group of doctors we call them for plantation, sometimes we call the paramilitary forces also, those CISF, CRPF and all, we involve them also for taking up plantations. Again, this is also one initiative, like in earlier days, what used to happen, whenever some persons, they want some saplings we give free of cost to the people to plant, whether it is in your home or it is outside, wherever it is. So they come with the application to the department, they get the approval, they take the applications to the nursery and collect the plants. But during this period, in 2018-19, what we introduced, forest department at your doorstep. You need not come with the application to the department. Department will go to your doorstep. In case you need saplings of less than 5 in numbers, then you don't need to give any applications. Our vehicle will go, there will be schedule. It is for the entire month of July, but most of month. We prepare the schedule, we place it on our website and widely publicize also. So which vehicle has to go to which sector on which day, it is all notified. The vehicle is given a dedicated number also. People, if they want to contact them, they can contact and they can collect the saplings at their doorstep. This is Van Vibhag Aapke Dwar. Then again, we involve the people in other activities, like this is a bird watching activities. So somehow or somewhere or other, you have to bind them together to this greening initiative. So they should love greenery, they should love biodiversity, then only they will lay their hands in protecting it. This is just an address to the school children, catch them young. This is one initiative that we did. This is a very interesting project actually. In 2019, during our just normal visit, then we could see one area was highly, it was so foul smell was coming out. We could not even enter. Lot of stray animals were there. Lot of foul smells were there. So we thought that this is 30 acre of land in Chandigarh. Every inch of land matters. 30 acre is a very big sum. It was lying unutilized. It was almost like wasteland. People are also not allowing us to enter that area because they had their stake that they want to throw their garbage there. So what we did, we over a period of 2 years, we planted over the entire area. Now in just 4 years, this has become a complete forest. It is adjoining PEC, that is Punjab Engineering College campus is there. Those who got houses on this side of the forest, they were not even able to open their windows because it was so foul smell was there, dirty visuals were there, so they were not able to open their windows. Now it has become a luxury for them. It is like park facing or forest facing, whatever you call it. I'll just show you a small video. You can really appreciate the work done by my team. and for which the department was also acknowledged by the governor, and the person who worked really very hard, he got a state award for this. So this is how it was just like wasteland. So we converted this land. Nothing great has been done. We cleared this land, then took the people into confidence. Then we planted the area with good mixed species of plantations, both flowering species as well as the fruit-bearing species, which will attract maybe over a period of time when it starts fruiting, it will attract a lot of good number of birds also. Mhm.
Maybe the hyperlink is not working.
Yeah, it is not working.
Just skip it.
Shall we proceed further?
Yeah.
Okay,
Please
okay,
proceed.
okay. Tritrakshi, you have this film?
So you can send me the link, I'll play it.
I have shared with Mr. Justin also.
Yeah, I will send it. I will send it. You please proceed with the presentation.
Okay.
Yeah, entire presentation I have shared with on Google
Okay.
Drive.
Please,
Yes.
please. Lovely. Continue, please.
Thank you.
Another initiative that we took, there was an area of another, again, around 33 acres. It was encroached, and there was a slum which was existing for almost like 40 years. Then with the help of administration, we cleared this area of the slums. They were given some housing facility elsewhere, and this area being forest area, we converted to Amrutvan. Amrutvan means this is for commemorating 75 years of India's independence. We converted to Amrutvan, and the area was so designed, like 75 years of India's independence for celebrating. We divided the area into 75 plots, and each plot was planted with 75 saplings of indigenous species. And it was designed in such a, it is like a leaf shape designing we did. And whenever the people they go for a walk, every month one plot or the other will be in blooming. It is planned in such a way. This is just a glimpse. These plants are small now. Maybe in another 2-3 years, it will grow up to a very good park. So this is the shape of the park that we have made. Of course, there are other space available also, but we have designed in such a way. So when people they go for a walk here, so every plot has got a different saplings, different species planted, and every month from January to December, one plot or other will be in full bloom. Then besides that, we have got a city forest where we developed Nagarvan under Nagarvan Yojana of Government of India in 2018. It was Nagarvan was developed. People used to go for walk, but we added few more facilities just to make it little interesting for the people. This is Nakshatravan. This is 27 constellations. So every constellation has a corresponding plant. So people when they go there, they find it so interesting to their own nakshatra. They associate which plant is that, and they sometimes they go back and plant the same tree in their backyard. They nurture that plant. This is how emotionally also, though it is also part of our old documents, but this is also how you emotionally bind people to different greening activities to conserve the biodiversity.
Absolutely.
This is Rasi 1, zodiac sign, all 12 zodiac signs. This is Navagraha 1, 9 planets. This is an interesting project. Of course, we conceived this idea from Singapore. Singapore, there is a bird park, a Jurong Bird Park. In line of Jurong Bird Park, we thought that people are so, the beauty of Chandigarh is people are very much green loving people. and they love authenticity. They don't want any concretization of kind of thing. So they want their city to be close to nature. So they love to be in the lap of nature. So this Chandigarh Bird Park that we developed again during this COVID period only, and this was inaugurated by the first lady of the country in 2021. And this is the design. There are two aviaries basically we have created. One is for the aquatic, this is for the aquatic birds, this is for the terrestrial birds. These are the huge structures, and the flying height of this aviary is 58 feet, and so far it is highest in the country. Nowhere in any of those zoo we have got such huge aviary. And interesting fact is, in just 2 years time, whatever money was spent for this project has been recovered in less than 2 years time. In less than 2 years time. I do not know whether the video will. You have to excuse me. I do not know, some issues are there, but otherwise, I have shared Justin. I have shared the link with you.
Dalai, I have not received the mail, but anyway, go with the presentation. We can
Yeah.
see the video at the end,
Yeah.
even after Monalisa's talk.
Yeah. People can also this Macau also, they can put the Macau on their hand and take a selfie also. This being an exotic species, legally also there is no banding, there is no problem. We have got other establishments like Butterfly Park also we have there. Peacock Park also we have. Dedicated parks are there for butterfly, dedicated park for peacock. So these are all the few steps how you can involve the people in your activities, how people will start loving it. This is a botanical garden. We have got different sections. Here also that video was interesting because we created one bonsai garden. This is a very interesting garden, but again, video would have been very interesting for the viewers to see. No, somehow it is not working. See, besides this greenery, the other important aspect of for a city dwellers is the overall environment, because this climate change, all these words are very catchy words these days, and people, they want a good environment all around. So this city, I can boast of saying, it doesn't take care of only the greenery part, it takes care of every aspect of the environment. This air quality, by virtue of being there in the Indo-Gangetic plains, because of its geographical region, this area is bound to have smaller dust particles of PM 2.5 and PM 10. It is naturally there. It is not because of the population pressure, or maybe there are industries or vehicles are running. So it has to be there. But we have taken many steps so that this environment also can be ameliorated. This is one of the steps, that 125-meter height open air purifier we have installed. Again, this is a good initiative by the department, and it was done free of cost. One company, they approached us. We just asked them, since this is a patented thing for them, we thought this is a patented thing, why not you experiment it in our city? Once it is successful, maybe we can place more order to you, or maybe people all around the country will see this as a success story and will try to emulate it. So they agreed. We provided just a piece of land to them, and they have installed. The cost of the project is almost like 4 to 5 crore, but it was done free of cost. And the data that we get, it is displayed there. There is a LED here, and this is a very a crowded chalk, that is transport chalk, very crowded place. So every time people they pass by, they see what is the air quality, and how much is the AQI at the inlet, and how much is the AQI at the outlet after the filtration is done. We have this is CIQMS, continuous ambient air quality monitoring stations. We have installed 3 during the period at different locations. One is the industrial area, one is the market area, and one is the habitations area, just to compare how the air quality varies from place to place. And those informations are also disseminated with the people by displaying through LED display board at different parts of the city. again, to avoid finer dust on the roads, these mechanical sweepers also, it was purchased by the department and handed over to the municipality. We are not operating it. It is being operated by the municipality, but it was purchased by the department and given to them for road sweeping purpose. This may be a very strange look for an Indian city. See, we are washing the canopy of our trees because a lot of dust used to be accumulated on the tree canopy, and whenever there is a wind blow, all this will worsen the air quality index of the area. So what we do, we have a schedule. Again, it is being done by the municipality, but it was purchased by the department and given to them under some program of Government of India. So they clean the canopy of the trees. Maybe it is being done in any other city. I am not very aware of, but definitely water is a scarce resource in the cities, and this, of course, it is not the fresh water. This is tertiary treated water is being utilized. Early morning we do it so that even people are also not affected during these operations. Besides that, I was also Secretary Science and Technology and Renewable Energy. We have laid a lot of emphasis on promoting solar energy, promoting solar energy, and the significant achievement is all government school. We have got 120 government schools. Entire government schools is running only from the electricity that is generated from their rooftop. Rather, it is energy positive, energy surplus, means solar energy surplus city so far as the requirement of the government schools are. No government school is running from thermal power or any hydropower or any other source of wind power, any other source of power. They are generating their own power, consuming it, and the remaining balance, whatever is the surplus production, it is going on the grid, and they are earning also. Paryavaran Bhavan, this is my own. This was my own office, and the entire requirement of the power requirement, it is being made from the solar only. Then we have a model jail. We had a 50 kilowatt capacity solar power earlier, but we have enhanced the capacity in their parking area. Huge space of parking was there, which we have utilized, and in that parking also we have installed this solar power plant. This is another interesting project. It's an innovative project. This is the raw water tank of the municipality. Only the raw water which is coming from Vakda, it is stored here, and from here it goes for this treatment purpose, and after treatment it is then distributed. Only for storing purpose, the water is kept here. So we utilize, this is land neutral project. So no land is required. The water anyway it was there. So this is a 2 megawatt project, and the foundation stone for this project was laid by the present president, Mrs. Draupadi Murmu. She only laid the foundation, and in a record time of 3 to 4 months, we completed the project, and project was again inaugurated by the governor of the state. This is a 2 megawatt project, and the interesting part is this project expected to reduce evaporation of approximately 382 million liters of drinking water. See, had this project not been there, so much of even evaporation loss was there to the water. So, which this loss, it compensates the requirement for the 21,000 people per year. So 21,000 people, whatever is their water requirement, we can check the evaporation by virtue of this. Besides that, of course, this project is generating 28 lakhs units annually. 28 lakhs means it is almost like 1.4 crore. Yes, 14 crore, sorry, 14 crore. 28 lakhs, and this money, of course, this project is in municipality land. Administration has spent money, so it is on a 70-30. Whatever money, whatever power is produced here, it goes to the grid, and whatever earning is there, it is shared with the municipality. 70% with the administration, and 30% goes to municipality for sparing that. And for them also, whatever 30% earning is there, it is a win-win situation for them, and even for us also. This land otherwise was also of no use to them, so they are earning, and we are also comfortable because 70% also is in just 7.5 years we get the entire payback for this project. This is another interesting project. It is for the forest area. This is a lake within the reserve forest boundary. People also come here for walk. Again, there was a video also. I can't show it to you. What we did, this is a 500 kilowatt solar power project, and the power that is generated from the solar power, it meets the requirement of the entire forest department. We have got around 14 establishments in the city. The entire power requirement of the forest department is made from the power that is produced by this floating solar projects. Besides that, this is a big lake. Almost like 410 kilowatt is used for the meeting the power requirement of the department, and 90 kilowatt power is diverted for running 3 fountains also. 3 fountains. So what happens, even for this fountain, not only it beautifies the lake, these fountains also, it does the continuous circulation of water of the lake. As a result, the health of the water lake is also improved. Because in the past, what we have seen, lot of fish death that you used to see because of lack of oxygen, means low oxygen content, because the muddy water also come from the forest area, and this being a stagnant water, lake water, so a lot of mud used to come here, and as a result, the dissolved oxygen content of the water drops down below 4. So as a result, there are a lot of fish used to die. But after these fountains were installed, there is continuous circulation of water. As a result, there is proper aeration also to the lake, and the health of the lake has also improved tremendously. So that's all from my side. So any questions, in case it is asked, I'll be very happy to answer. Thank you very much. I hope I have not exceeded time, Mr. Justin. Video would have taken another 5-7 minutes maybe.
No, we have received your videos. We will show it actually.
Okay.
But the presentation was really informative. Actually, one, the demand from the people for having biodiversity in their cities and urban areas. Other is, if you are having biodiversity, it actually helps the people in so many ways.
Yes.
From water availability to better microclimate to better livelihood opportunities, tourism, economic activity. I think you have done extremely well in converting that wasteland into a beautiful plantation with the help of the local communities, and also provided them with a lot of opportunities for relaxing by way of setting up this bird park, orchidarium, and so on. And as an environment secretary, I think you have played a major role in bringing solar power to Chandigarh.
Yes.
I think it's all great work, Dalai. And also, I think Government of India is presently implementing this Nagarvan Yojana,
Yes.
where private or public entities can share their land, and government is paying 4 lakh rupees per hectare, up
Per
to
hectare, yes.
50 hectares, up to 50 hectares.
Earlier it was 100 hectare. Now
Yeah,
even they have reduced, even 10 hectare land also they are ready to fund for it.
yeah. They have brought in this Nagar Vatika Yojana, Nagar Vatika and
Yes.
Nagar Van
Nagar
Yojana.
Vatika, yeah.
Yeah, Nagar Vatika. So I think city planners should take all these Government of India ongoing schemes also whenever they are planning for any beautification with bringing in biodiversity, tree planting and all, using ongoing schemes of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Thank you, Dalai. We all know that you have extremely traveled abroad. You have and then brought in the best practices that are in different cities. Like you had visited Singapore and brought that bird park here. Actually, for the information of the audience, the Debendra Dalai was selectively picked by the Government of India for the 24th and 25th climate change COP. I think it was in Poland and Spain. And
Spain.
he has extensively traveled across the world and tried to bring in the best practices that have been available in different parts of the world to Chandigarh. And during the 5 years which he has served there, a lot of development activities so far as biodiversity conservation in the city has happened. Anyway, thank you very much, Dalai. Whether INHAF can show these videos for 5 minutes before we move to the next presentation, or should I
No, no,
present
Yes,
from
sir,
my side?
it's a good idea. Please let us see the videos.
Yeah, Justin, please. It will be interesting.
Yeah, yes.
That was the bonsai garden at Botanical Garden.
That was the bonsai garden. Yeah.
Yes.
Is there a possibility to show the other videos, or we move to the next presentation?
Justin, it will take another 2-3 minutes. If you can show, it will be interesting
Yeah.
for the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bird park video.
Yeah, this we will see.
Mhm. This 35.
Yeah, the first video is in 24.
This is 35 years. Yeah.
24. Go to slide number 20.
Yeah. This
Okay,
is
this is
Sunny.
okay. Yeah. all the videos are done, Debendra?
Yeah, two more are there. In case we have shortage of time, you can proceed further, Justin. That garbage one is there. This one was the garbage one.
Maybe garbage we can see. I think that is very tempting to see that.
Yeah.
Garbage one. What is the slide number?
I think, Justin, I'll just tell you.
Yeah, 24.
Now you
24.
go up.
24, 24.
I'll tell you. Yeah, 24.
खूबसूरत नगरी चंडीगढ़ में ऐसे भी कुछ स्थान हैं जहां अज्ञानता और मजबूरी के चलते कुछ स्थानीय निवासियों ने कूड़ा कचरा फेंकना शुरू कर दिया। पीजीआई और पंजाब इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेज के साथ लगने वाला ये सारा क्षेत्र शहर का वन क्षेत्र था। साल 2019 के आखिरी महीने में वन विभाग चंडीगढ़ की टीम यहां पहुंची तो शहर का यह उत्तरी कोना गंदगी और दुर्गंध से इतना भरा हुआ था कि अंदर पांव तक रखना मुश्किल था। लेकिन वन विभाग चंडीगढ़ की टीम ने ठान लिया कि कूड़े के ढेर से सराबोर इस जगह की गंदगी को ग्रीनरी में बदलेंगे। और फिर जल्द ही गार्बेज को ग्रीनेज में बदलने की कवायद युद्ध स्तर पर शुरू हो गई। आसपास रहने वाले लोगों से कूड़ा न फेंकने की प्रार्थना, अपील और जुर्माना तक लगाने की चेतावनियां दी गईं। जुलाई 2020 में यहां 6000 से भी अधिक पौधे लगाए गए। कुछ फलदायी पौधे, कुछ फूलों से भरे तो कुछ पारिस्थितिक, ताकि जैव विविधता को सहयोग मिल सके। महज साल भर में ही नवोदित पौधों की लंबाई 2 गुना से ज्यादा हो गई। वन विभाग चंडीगढ़ ने हाल ही में यहां 4000 पौधे और लगाए हैं। जल्द ही इन पौधों पर फल फूल लगेंगे जो न केवल जीव जंतुओं के लिए उपयोगी साबित होंगे बल्कि इस जगह और शहर की खूबसूरती में भी 4 चांद लगाएंगे। हम जो चले तो डगर बनेगी, हरित रंगों में नगरी सजेगी। मेहनत और जुनून हर ख्वाब के पूरक हैं। जिंदगी हमारी सोच से ज्यादा खूबसूरत है।
Justin, 30 seconds. Should we say that solar power project?
Yeah, that also we will see.
It is.
That also.
It is at the end. And at the end. No.
This
No,
one,
go
this
down.
one.
No,
This one.
No, not this one. Go down.
Down.
Yeah, this one, 49. Yeah, that's it.
That's all. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
that's
Justin sir, before we move to Monalisa ji, can I make a half a minute, 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Dalai Sahab, I wanted to tell you this, that, for architects and planners and people who are involved in the urban development and planning,
yes, sir.
Chandigarh is a Makkah of us. It's a place of a huge significance because it was designed by Le Corbusier, a very
course.
French architect. And the symbol of open hand that you showed it's something we learn every year in our architecture school. What I wanted to tell you was this.
Very true.
Believe me, those same architects and planners who know and understand and talk about Chandigarh have not seen the work that you've done. That this is possible in our cities.
Yes.
And it adds so immensely to what the city is. And what I want to do is this, that I want to find a way to reach out to 25 major urban planning organizations, city planning organization, and
Yes, sir.
show this videos and try and kind of get your cooperation in doing it. We will find out how to do it. But this is an amazing, amazing work. And this is one of the best webinars I have had because it shows what could be done. So thank you very, very
Thank
much.
you, thank you so much, sir. Actually, sir, point I want to make here, the executives, they have lot of authorities. Only thing is that with little bit of maybe a commitment, if they can motivate the team, because I am not going to do everything on the ground.
Yeah.
You have to only steer to the team. In case you can keep the team in high spirit and show them a vision, I think our people are capable enough. They can do wonders. Actually, they can do wonders.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, individuals make the
So much,
difference.
sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for the kind and encouraging words, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dalai. It was very, very, very informative. And now I am thrilled and very tempted to come and see all these things in Chandigarh. Yeah.
I also want to go there.
Thank you so much, sir.
Anyway,
Thank
great
you.
work, Dalai.
Thank-
Great work and
Thank you.
congratulations, hearty congratulations to you and your team. So
Thank you, sir.
please continue, be here. We will hear the next speaker, Mrs.
Yes.
Monalisa Sen. Monalisa Sen, whom I met when I was Secretary, National Biodiversity Authority.
Okay.
She actually is the Senior Program Officer from ICLI. ICLI is an international council for local environment initiatives. So she looks after the entire South Asia. So they are into assessing the biodiversity in different cities. So they call it City Biodiversity Index. So she has done extremely great work in most of the prominent cities. As we speak, she is doing the same work for Tirupati. So she is in Tirupati doing this City Biodiversity Index work. So she has an enormous lot of information on how a biodiversity assessment takes place, how ecological landscapes have to be designed by city planners and so on. So without taking much time, I invite Dr. Monalisa Sen to this webinar. Monalisa ji, please complete it by now it is around 7:15, maybe half an hour you can take so that we have some Q&A and then we close it before 8 o'clock. Okay. Over to you, Monalisa.
Thank you. A big thank you to everyone, the organizers, and particularly Justin sir for giving us this opportunity to present our work. Basically, I'll just talk about the work that we've been doing. Before that, I'm not sure if the audience really knows what ICLAI is. We are basically an international network of cities, and we work across cities in the entire globe towards sustainable development. We have 17 secretariats. I represent the South Asia Secretariat, which is headquartered in Delhi. Our global headquarters are Bonn. What we do is, like I said, we work towards developing sustainable cities, and we work across 5 interconnected pathways: low emission development, resilient development, circular development, equitable and people-centric development, and nature-based development. So the biodiversity work that I do directly feeds into the nature-based development, but if you look at it, it feeds into all the other 4 pathways as well. That's why we call this as an interconnected pathway that we have. And we promote urban sustainability, we connect leaders, we do a lot of capacity building, policy level work, as well as ground level implementation. Now, coming to the fact that why do we actually need to even measure biodiversity and conserve biodiversity in cities? Because primarily when we say biodiversity, all of us have this process or the thought process of thinking forests, rural areas, cities really don't come to our minds. So the first effort in this direction was taken in 2010 when the Cities and Biodiversity Outlook publication was brought out. This is an ICLAI publication, and this was done along with the Convention of the Secretariat of the Convention of Biology and Diversity. And this is where the links between urbanization, biodiversity, and ecosystem services was brought out for the first time, which showed that cities play a major role in biodiversity conservation, because rich biodiversity can exist in cities as well. And cities are not just areas which are there to use up the biodiversity, they also have to conserve it. This is a freely available online document. The next thing that is available for cities is a local action for biodiversity guidebook. Again, freely available for all practitioners, because I understand there are a lot of practitioners and city planners on the webinar. So these come up with a comprehensive guidelines on how biodiversity management needs to be integrated with city planning. Again, freely downloadable, accessible document. Coming to the City Biodiversity Index, which I will concentrate on more, and I'll just touch on the other things that I've just been talking about. So this is a tool that helps cities evaluate and monitor their biodiversity. It's a self-assessment tool. It is very, very simple to apply and has scientific credibility. Also known as the Singapore Biodiversity Index, primarily because it was proposed by Singapore at the 9th CBD COP, and it was endorsed at the 10th CBD COP. ICLAI has been a technical partner to the City Biodiversity Index right from its inception. This is the only global index which is endorsed by the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, your presentation is not visible to us.
It's not moving. One second. Just a second.
Yeah, we can see you now.
No, someone mentioning they can't see the presentation.
So
I was
question we are not
doing
able to
the-
see. I thought you were just having an introductory talk.
No. I moved a lot of slides. One second.
Oh,
One
okay.
second.
Should we open it?
I had sent it to you also.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
is my slide visible?
No, ma'am.
Then you will only have to do it. Somehow it's not open.
You keep talking. I will just share it with the
Yeah.
team. You keep talking, please.
Yeah. So basically, the Singapore Biodiversity Index has 3 pillars. First is the native biodiversity in the city. Second is the ecosystem services provided by the biodiversity in the city. And third is the governance and management of biodiversity in the city. And there are 10 indicators under the native biodiversity, 4 under ecosystem services, and 9 under the governance and management of biodiversity in the city. So this 9 indicators is what rests with the city corporation. That's how the city corporation plays a very big role in the City Biodiversity Index. The first part is the general profile of the city, but what is additional is that the biodiversity features come into the profile and in the City Biodiversity Index. The native biodiversity, I'm really sorry if you can't see these slides. All this is on the slides that I've put in. The native,
Sharing it to Chitrakshi.
yeah.
You have
So-
sent a PDF only.
I tried PDF. I tried the PPT. Nothing seems to be getting shared.
Okay.
So the native biodiversity has things like what is the proportion of natural areas in the city, connectivity measures, goes down to the protected areas in the city, and also documents the proportion of alien invasive species in the city. This has about 40 points. Ecosystem services, it concentrates on the regulation of water in the city and also the green cover in the city. And then the recreational services of the number of parks with natural areas in the city and the access that students below 16 have to these parks and natural areas. The third and the most important from a city governance point of view is the governance and management of biodiversity, which has things like budget allocated for, can you just go to going down the slides? I'll tell you where.
You can just go through, just run through from first and.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this is.
Monalisa, just elaborate why this City Biodiversity Index is required and what is the significance of those.
Yeah.
It's a new
Whoever
subject for the
is
audience.
Operating the slides, can you just keep coming down a little? Yeah, so this is, I can just go through. Yeah, can you just keep it? No, just one slide back. The next slide.
Back.
Next, no, not back. Next. Yeah.
next.
Yeah. So this is what I was explaining. The City Biodiversity Index has 3 pillars. The native biodiversity in the city, which has 10 indicators, ecosystem services provided in the biodiversity in the city, which has 4, and the governance and management of biodiversity, which has 9 indicators. So the governance and management aspect is completely rested with the city corporation, and that's how this starts playing a very big role for the cities. And if you see the way these indicators are distributed, it does not matter as to where the city is. It is not that a city in one of the global higher hotspots, like maybe Itanagar will get a higher score than, say, a city which is not closer to the global biodiversity hotspots. It's not that way. It just distributes everything across what is there in all cities, and including the governance aspect. For city planners, it's good to know that this City Biodiversity Index is part of the Climate Smart City Assessment Framework, which every city has to answer every year now. And it's also part of the Livability Index, which the National Institute of Urban Affairs has come up with now. So all cities have to go through this and have to apply this indicator every year now. Next slide. Yeah, this is what I was saying, that the city profile is just a general city profile that all planners can understand what is written in this, but what is additional is the biodiversity features and the administration of biodiversity, which comes into picture when we write the city profile from a City Biodiversity Index perspective. Next slide. The native biodiversity, like I just mentioned, apart from things like what are the changes in the species across 5 taxa, which is vascular plants, birds, butterflies, and the last 2 one can select depending on what city we are in. There's also a focus on proportion of natural areas, the protected areas, the connectivity that these protected areas and green spaces have. And also the 10th one, which is not getting visible, is basically the invasive alien species in the city. Next slide. Ecosystem services, this concentrates on the water, or basically the permeable surfaces in the city, and also the green cover, which is the climate regulation in the city. Coming to the other kind of ecosystem services are the recreational services. So then there's a focus on parks with natural areas and the formal education that children have when they visit these parks and natural areas. This here children classifies as the age group of below 60. Next slide. This is the one which is very, very critical, because primarily entire data or entire work is from the city government, right from things like what is the budget allocation that the city has for biodiversity work, the number of projects the city is doing, does the city have a local biodiversity strategy action plan or not, does it have a formal methodology of consultation processes on biodiversity, the kinds of partnerships that the city has, the kind of awareness activities that the city does, and also is biodiversity and nature education included in the school curriculum. Next slide. So, well, a lot more cities have applied this index now. Even in India, the count has increased, but this just provides a glimpse of the cities who have been implementing this indicator. Hyderabad is the first city in India to have applied this indicator, and they are the only city till now to have done the second version of it. Actually, all cities are supposed to revise this or revisit this indicator every 5 years, this index. Next slide. This shows the cities in India that have done this. Itanagar is missing from this slide I just saw. Itanagar also has completed the City Biodiversity Index. And there are cities like Bangalore, Chennai, Visakhapatnam, Vijayawada, Kadapa, and Tirupati who are in the process of applying the City Biodiversity Index and coming up with their reports on the City Biodiversity Index. Next slide. This is just a glimpse of some of the work that we have done on City Biodiversity Index, and this is how generally the reports look. The next slide. Okay, I'm just taking Bhopal as a case study just to explain these indicators in little detail. The first one is proportion of natural areas in the city. It's very, very simple. Total area of natural restored or naturalized area in the city divided by the total area of the city into 100. While I say this, it's simple. It becomes very difficult to map it out when we do it. plus, but anyway, this is how it's done. And there is a scoring pattern on the basis of which the city gets points. The next slide. Bhopal, we did the natural asset map, and then we figured out the areas, and then they got a score. But for each city, this natural asset map becomes critical. So once we start the city biodiversity index, this is the first map that we develop for each city. Next slide. Connectivity measures, like I said, this just shows what are the patches of primarily water body areas which are connected within the city. And there is a calculation to this. I can go into this in detail offline if whoever wants to understand this further. But for this, again, a connectivity map of the entire water system in the city is developed. And that's the next stage that we do once we start the city biodiversity index. The next slide. So Bhopal, this is how we did it. And then the patches are calculated as per the calculation, which I can take it offline because it's quite a detailed one. And then Bhopal got some score. Next slide. The native biodiversity in built-up areas. This is concentrated only on bird species. And what is critical here is to understand the number of native bird species that are there only in the built-up areas. Forest areas in the city will not count for this. So this becomes a little challenging because we really need point locations of birds which have been spotted. We use a lot of citizen science, we use a lot of eBird data, and also do our own analysis in the city and our surveys. Next slide. So this is what Bhopal got as a score. It's actually a very high score. They got 4 on 4 on this one. Next slide. Now, change in number of native species. Basically, this is that the total number of species of any particular taxa minus the number of species that have gone extinct. But these are indicators 4 to 8. These do not come into the calculations when the city is doing this city biodiversity index for the first time. So it's not calculated in the numerator or the denominator. The next slide. Proportion of protected areas in the city, protected natural areas, very, very simple. Protected areas in the city divided by the total area of the city. Again, simple just in terms of formula. Such cities are not able to give such data. So one has to sit and map out all these things. And then we come up with these results. Next slide. That's Bhopal score, how we got it, and go on to the next one. Proportion of invasive alien species. This is one of the indicators that we struggle with in each and every city because cities have not worked on the invasive alien species at all. First of all, species lists city-wise don't exist. That's a challenge that we have to overcome. And then to find out which of them are invasive and alien, and that's another challenge. And then, of course, it's just a division of the number of alien species by the total number of native species into 100. For any particular taxa, primarily we get data easily for plants, so we have been concentrating on that. But in one case, we have done even for fishes. Next slide. This is the score. The city has got a score of 2, so they need to work on more to reduce the invasive alien species. That's how their score will increase. Next slide. Regulation of quantity of water, like I said, this just represents the proportion of permeable areas in the city. So the total permeable area is again mapped ground truth and then divided by the total terrestrial area of the city. The terrestrial area, in this case, the rivers do not count, the water bodies do not count, and a multiplication by 100 to get the percentage. Again, there are points for each of these percentages. Next slide. So this is how, again, the permeability map is developed and then the calculations are done. The next slide. Climate regulation, this just primarily concentrates on the canopy cover in the city. So the tree canopy cover, again, is something which we map out with cities. Our cities are not at a stage where they have these canopy cover maps ready. So this is something which we do it when we are with the cities. And then we just apply the indicator. Next slide. This is the green or the tree cover map of Bhopal. Similar maps we develop for each and every city that we work in. Next slide. Recreational services, this is basically focused on the area of the parks with natural areas per 1,000 persons. So it just depends on the area as well as the population of the city. Next slide. This is what Bhopal scored. They got a very high score of 4 and 4, just because they have protected areas, natural areas, a lot within the city. Next slide. Educational services, what is the average number of formal education visits which happen? None of our cities are able to score in this because education visits happen, but it is not formalized or it is not strictly done in the syllabus. So we just have visits, but we don't formalize it. So till date, whatever cities we worked in, nobody has got a score of even 1. Everybody scored 0 on this. Next slide. Like I said, see Bhopal again 0. Next slide. The budget allocation, so it's pretty simple in terms of explaining. It's the amount of money that the city spends in the municipal budget on biodiversity related activities divided by the total municipal budget of that year and multiplied by 100. Next slide. Bhopal got a very high score. They have 16% of the budget. We've just completed Bangalore, which is outcompeting Bangalore, has 23% of their budget allocated for biodiversity work in each year. Next slide. Number of biodiversity projects that the city has implemented. So along with private sector, NGOs, etc. So there are points on the number of projects. Next slide. So this reflects the kind of collaborations that the city has. Bhopal, see, even after doing 14 projects, they're nowhere in the lowest score of just 1. So most of our cities don't score well on this. Next slide. Policies, this just concentrates on the existence of an LBSAP or the Local Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan. Very simple. If you have one and if you don't have one, if it includes CBD initiatives or not, then it comes when you have one. But Bhopal doesn't have, so I think we'll get a score of 0. Next slide. So several cities have started developing their LBSAPs after the City Biodiversity Index gave a score of 0 on this indicator. Next slide. This is basically the biodiversity related functions which are there in the city, basically things like museums, aquariums, insectoriums, orchidariums, etc., which are there in the city for use by public, which has public access. Next slide. Bhopal should get a good score. Yeah, so they have a huge number of these things like interpretation center, medicine gardens, botanical gardens, herbarium, etc., which are open to public, and that's how they got a huge score on this, 4 and 4. The next slide. Again, interagency cooperation. How many agencies does the city government cooperate with on biodiversity related activities? This agencies means the other government agencies, the parastatal, the local agencies, as well as at the national level. Most of our cities don't score very well on this. Next slide. See, Bhopal has only 2, so it has scored only a score of 1. Next slide. Then again, formal, informal consultations, if they happen with regard to biodiversity related matters, some of the cities have got even 4 and 4, like Hyderabad. Bhopal, I'm not sure how much it has got. So based on what the process is, there are very clear scores or points that the city gets. Next slide. Bhopal doesn't have, so it didn't get any score. In contrast, Hyderabad got a score 4 and 4. Then number of agencies, NGOs that they partner with for biodiversity related projects. This may not be a financial partnering, it just could be a facilitation partnering. Next slide. Bhopal, the city corporation here scores very well. They have a lot of partnerships going on. The next slide. Is biodiversity included in the school curriculum? Most of our syllabus, ICSE, CBSE, or the state boards have things on biology, geography, etc., included in the school curriculum. So all cities till now have got 4 on 4 on this. Next slide. The next slide. So this is the last one, the number of outreach events that the city corporation does with regard to biodiversity conservation per year. Again, this is something which our cities really badly lack. I have not seen any city go up to a score of 2. Next slide. See, Bhopal got 1. Can I have the next slide? So this is just a summary of the scores that the city has got. I would like to say this is an index which is not compared between cities, but it's compared when a city repeats its index next time to see how much it has improved. Like Hyderabad in the first round during the CBD COP, they had done it and they got a score of 32. 2022, we repeated their index. They have phenomenal jump. They've gone up to 56. Next slide. You can skip this, the next slide. And I'll just briefly touch on the LBSAP. Can we have the next slide? So this is the guidelines for developing the SPSAP and LBSAP have again been developed by ICLAI, endorsed by the Convention on Biological Diversity, freely downloadable for cities to be using this. And this provides a guidance strategy on how the LBSAP should be developed. The next slide. These are some of the works that LBSAPs that we have developed: Kochi, Gangtok, then Nagpur. We've also done Jammu, Srinagar, and Udaipur, Siliguri, Rajkot. These are still under process. Noida is another one which you just completed. The next slide. Natural asset maps. This is something wherein we map the blue-green infrastructure on the GIS platform. This is something which our cities find it extremely useful and have been asking us to be doing this even in cities where we've not been doing the City Biodiversity Index or the LPSAP. We've got requests from cities to do this work. So our cities, even if some of them have GIS cells, do not have this kind of training as to how to develop these kind of maps. Next slide. So we've also turned these the natural asset maps into illustrated ones with support of cartoonists to make them more user-friendly, wherein the city's biodiversity is showcased using one of the traditional arts of the city. Like the Gangtok one, if you see, it's the Thanka painting that has been used. Kochi, if you see the compass, it's Kathakali over there. That's something which we've been doing. Kochi has been putting up these maps in their parks as well, and it's there in front of the mayor's office also. Next slide. This is what we did for Nagpur, since it's the orange city, so the orange flavor is there. Next slide. Panaji, this is the Azolo tiles. So we followed their tradition of the Azolo tiles to build this. The next slide, we've done this across several cities. Next slide. Tree cover maps, like, can I have the next slide? This is what I was saying. Cities come up with these requests of developing these tree cover maps. And now what we're getting further requests is to do a time series analysis for the cities on how their tree cover has changed from 20 years, what it was back and to now. This is what you're seeing for Hyderabad. Next slide. This should be a Vadodara one. Yeah, this is for Vadodara that we have done. And we've been doing this across several cities now. Next slide. Some cities also ask for tree density maps. This is what Rajkot is. It's not just that these maps are kept static. Cities start planning where to do their plantation based on these maps, where are the areas, which are the wards which lack green cover. That's how cities have been using these maps and find them very useful. Next slide. Well, biodiversity communication is a very important part. So go on to the next slide. We do such things like tree handbooks and some comic books. Next slide. This is something which we worked along with an artist to come out with the ecosystem services provided by some of the commentaries that we see across several cities in India. Next slide. We have a nature interpretation center. This is in Kochi, now run completely by the city corporation. It's in one of their parks, and this gets a huge footfall of students as well as other citizens every day. Next slide. We also develop guidelines for cities. We can skip this, basically how cities should develop an LBSAP, these maps, etc. Next slide. We've done we do several open green space plans. The Miyawaki Forest Development Guidelines came up on request from MOFCC. The next slide. We have a global biodiversity reporting platform. This is called Cities with Nature. Again, this is the only platform accredited by the Secretariat of the Convention on Biological Diversity for cities to be reporting their biodiversity action, to be feeding into the report of the Government of India which will go to the CBD COP coming up in October. Next slide. So there is a pathway which cities can take. The ICLAI has a typical pathway of analyze, act, and accelerate, a 3x3x3 matrix. This is a free of cost thing. A city can just register and use this entire platform to be uploading their work. And based on the analysis stage, act and accelerate, there are various recommendations which come out, which a city can follow. Next slide. A lot of these toolkits which are available for cities are there free of cost on this platform for cities to be using this. In fact, the City Biodiversity Index, we have now made it into an Excel-based format, wherein you can just enter your scores and the report gets generated. Next slide. Just a brief case study of Kochi. Kochi was the first city in Kerala to have developed the City Biodiversity Index and then their LBSAP. The LBSAP came up because they got a score of 0 in the LBSAP indicator. So the city wanted to improve the governance of biodiversity. And that's how the LBSAP was developed. The next slide. Within the LBSAP, they have identified 9 critical ecosystems, agriculture being one. So to work on that, the city has developed a pollinator garden and to augment the pollinator diversity. And city is trying to work a lot more on urban food to augment the agriculture sector. Next slide. Canals is another ecosystem which the city identified as critical, and going beyond just dredging canals, which most of our cities just do. Kochi is implementing things on green-gray infrastructure, using green solutions to be restoring canals. In fact, they are only one among the only 8 cities who have just been awarded a UNEP project called Generation Restoration to be restoring one of their canals, the Tevarapatnur Canal. Next slide. So basically, I'll just say that the journey has just begun. We have some of the pioneer cities, and we have a long way to go. But there are toolkits available, there are processes available, there are people available who can help cities, and just like our word of mouth to be spreading further. And just because Dalai sir was talking about Chandigarh, the PBR, or the People's Biodiversity Register of Chandigarh, was developed with support from ICLAI. Next slide. Yeah, so that's in a nutshell. I'm available for questions now, later, wherever.
Thank you. Thank you, Monalisa. A very interesting topic, actually. So before going to the questions that have come from audience, I would personally want to know, what is a good score for a City Biodiversity Index? Like Bhopal has scored 44 out of 72. What would be, in your opinion, a good score?
Yeah. So basically, it's not really classifying as a good or a bad score. Bhopal has got 44. 5 years down the line, what they get? If they go down, that's bad. If they improve, that's better. That's all. So in the first time that the city implements, even if they get a 0, it doesn't matter. It just shows their intent to be working on improving the biodiversity and its governance in the city.
And whether these documents are there in the public domain?
Yes, these are all available on the ICLAI website, completely in public domain. Just go to the ICLAI South Asia website.
It gives an idea for the officials and bureaucrats to actually improve the biodiversity. Am I correct?
Yes.
Based on
correct.
these reports.
Correct.
On these 23 indicators.
Yes. And what we do is, for each of these indicators, we put in city-specific recommendations on how the city can improve the score, or if the city has already got a 4 on 4, then what the city should be doing to be maintaining that score.
Excellent. One question has come from audience. I'll just read it.
Yeah, sure.
It is from Atul Vivek from Kota. ICLAI is doing some great work in Solapur, Maharashtra, with respect to lake pond works. What are they actually doing? I wish to know, as I wish to associate with them, if possible, as I am from Solapur.
Solapur, we worked on a project on integrated water management, wherein the water for Solapur city comes about 100 kilometers away, and there is a lake called Ikruk Lake, which is surrounded by a lot of villages. So we brought the villages and the city together on a single platform, which we called as Urban Platform, to sit and discuss and develop a catchment management plan for Ikruk Lake. And we've also done restoration of Ikruk Lake using constructed wetlands. So the water which now enters Ikruk Lake, which was earlier just direct discharge of grey water, black water from the surrounding villages, is now treated water which goes into Ikruk Lake, which is actually drinkable quality. So that's a project that we did in Solapur sometime.
Okay. And how long it will take to finalize a report? Suppose say government of Kerala wants to do a similar work in Trivandrum, how long it will take to complete this work?
At least
I too
6
had the same
months.
question. How long does it take to prepare the report? Yeah.
At least 6 months, because
6
like I'm
months.
saying, our cities do not have these data points. So
Okay.
we have to generate, sit with the city, discuss, get all these points out. All the maps that I'm showing you, cities don't have these maps. We develop these maps. Like Tirupati also, I'm right now here to develop a map with you. Cooperation from the city. If they don't cooperate, it becomes really, really troublesome for us.
These
Then
tree
again,
maps
I think we
from
did
where
it.
you get this information? What is your primary source of information to prepare the
So
tree
we
map?
start them with GIS based thing, and then we come down to the city for ground truthing, and then we finalize our.
And,
Itanagar City Biodiversity Index, I think we did it in about 4.5 months, because the State Biodiversity Board, again under the leadership of Coach Rinya, was excellent support they gave us.
okay. Good. Thank you, Monalisa. It was a very enlightening session. A new topic, actually. Many of
Yeah.
us may not be knowing about the City
True.
Biodiversity Index, what you are doing on
Yeah.
these 23 indicators. Anyway, thank you very much. I think those who have seen your presentation now, and of course, this presentation is going to be there in YouTube and Facebook of INHAF. So those who are going to see later also, I'm sure that they are going to benefit immensely from your ideas and the
Sure.
great work which Italy is doing. Okay. Thank you very much, Monalisa. And coming to Dalai, what would be the cost of setting up a bird park in a city, the way you did it in Chandigarh? And was it done through some consultant, or you brought that Singapore-based park person to do this, or you did on your own? How this project was executed?
See, Justin, it was easy to maybe to implement this project in a zoo. We did not have any zoo. It was like a greenfield project for us. So it was a bit difficult in the beginning. But to be very frank and honest with you, there was no consultant, no DPR. It was based on the what we see in Singapore. It has been copied, not exactly in toto, but maybe some ideas we have taken from Singapore, some ideas of our own, including the landscaping part. It is our own people. We have sat together, we have designed it, and we have done it. Of course, for this fabricated structures, we have taken the help of a institute, Government of India Institute is the NI at Triple TR. So they have helped us in designing the structural design, giving us the structural design. We are not the engineers for such a heavy structure, but otherwise, entire planning, entire landscaping, everything is done. It is in-house only, no consultant. And total cost of the project was 6 crore, including purchase of birds. Birds we purchased from different sources. We made some team. They went from place to place to find out. It was basically all exotic birds, but it was all bred in captivity in Chennai. It was from a very legal source of this breeder. So we have purchased the birds, and including everything, it was 7 crore project, 6 crore. 6 crore project, including 1 crore, closely 1 crore for the purchase of birds. But otherwise 5 crore project. But entire money through this get entry fee, we have got entire money recovered. And for this selfie that you put the bird on your hand and take a selfie, there is huge demand. We charge extra for that. This is again a Singapore concept. What they do, they'll give you a small cup of maybe juice. You have to feed the bird, and if they charge $5 for it. We again charge 100 rupees for just this photograph. And Chandigarh people, of course, they have lot of money, and they are very I'll say green loving people. They love to have the birds on their hand, so they take photo. As a result, see, of course, earning money is not objective. This is a government project, so the entry fee also is very minimum. But had it been a private project, maybe they would have charged very heavily for this. It's a very unique experience. Once you go there, both the these are all walk-through aviary, and
Correct.
you walk past them, and they'll be all around. They'll come and sit on your shoulder. They're very people friendly also. It's a very interesting experience. Very interesting.
You brought the people of Chandigarh closer towards these birds, I think. Anyway, I think everyone would be having a photo in their house with these all
So
these.
that is there, and more than that, what happened? Some people, they keep some pets also, pet birds also, like budgerigars and all, in their home, in small cages. Those children, they have donated their birds, because here is a better living condition for the birds. They have donated their birds to us, and we have kept them after doing all the protocol formalities. We have kept their birds also in our aviary.
Fantastic, Dalai. Thank you very much, both Dalai and Monalisa. Excellent presentations. A lot of information that has come. Sir, Kirti sir, please go ahead. I think I don't want to stop you. Please go ahead with your remarks.
I just wanted to. I'm absolutely thrilled, honestly, absolutely thrilled, full of. I'm very delighted that we had this session. I wanted one question to each one of you, to Dalai Saab and Monalisa ji. Dalai Saab, when we talk about a city, we talk about municipal corporation, we talk about pollution control board, we talk about housing board, we can't talk about slum clearance board, we talk about everything. We never talk about forest department.
Yes, sir.
And I'm very keen. It's how do we do it? Because what you're doing is amazing. And it's no, really, and I mean it. I really meant it. What a contribution to making city livable. What contribution to make it. This is amazing. I think
this is a two-way process, sir.
No, sir. Just let me finish this. I'm essentially talking in terms of institutional umbrella for a city.
Yes.
Like, cities grew, we brought in an urban development authority and all that, How does one bring in, and I would want to kind of work on this, how do we bring in, because see, showing your work itself is a good example. But they would say, this is one place, this is one case study, whatever. I essentially want to kind of, talk to you at some other point. Institutionally, how do we do it? In terms of integrating forest department into the institutional landscape of a city.
Sir.
Because it's very critical and it's very important.
It's critical, yes, sir. Sir, this is a two-way process. You extend your hand, I'll also extend my hands, then we can work together. Chandigarh is a place where citizens are also very proactive. Number one. Number two, if you see the working of forest department, I don't want to criticize my own department. See, earlier days, we are the protector of the these natural resources. We don't want anybody to barge into my domain, in my area. This is a protected area. This is a prohibited area. You can't enter. So the department also has to be forthcoming. They have to be also welcome people. Until and unless people, they seeing is believing. Until and unless, like I showed you the first picture, lush green forest. Many of the people, even of Chandigarh also, they don't know such kind of dense forest is existing in their city, right behind their home. So until unless I keep it open, what we do, we organize trekking every month, sir. Except this monsoon months, every month we notify either the second Saturday or Sunday, and we ask people to register online. More than 400, 500 people, they come to visit our forest areas. See, this is such interesting. So it's almost like a 10-kilometer trekking in the hilly terrain, not very difficult to, of course, to negotiate, and takes around 2.5 hours. And what you need to do, only you have to register online. And what we provide, not only the guide, even the refreshment on the way, then the conveyance back to your place where you have parked your vehicle, all those facilities are extended by the department free of cost. In case these facilities are extended by any resort, maybe they will not charge you not less than 10,000 rupees for a trip. But so many people, they participate. So once they come and see the work of the department, once they appreciate the greenery, definitely they can contribute. Like for bird park, we have got many feedback. Those who have visited the bird park, after going back, they have kept some pot of water, maybe some grains in their backyard. So they have invited birds, naturally available birds, to their backyard also. So this is how you have to bring the people on board. Because as I said initially, see, alone I cannot do everything. As a government department, we also have our own limitations. In case we want people also to join hands with us, definitely our hands will be more strengthened, and the larger objective for which we all are working can be fulfilled and achieved.
Yeah, thank you. Dalai, one more question from the audience. Dr.
No,
Balaji
sorry,
Srinivasa Gopal.
one more from Monalisa ji, I think, if you don't mind. Sorry, it's a half a second.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Monalisa ji, I think that I wanted to ask you is this service that you render, there are two questions. One is it only for the member of ICLEI or is it for any city? That's number one. And second thing is this, that how do you manage the cost of this detailed investment that you make in a given city?
Yeah, so the first question, no, it's not restricted to member cities. We work with all cities at equal levels. Basically, we are an organization wherein we have to look for funds. It's not something that we have our own funds which we implement. So when cities approach us for such things, we have to look for donors. Some of our bigger projects are with the German government. There we've been funding a lot of work. Some of them work is also funded by some corporates through the CSR. The work that I'm doing in Tirupati right now is actually funded by the State Biodiversity Board. The Itanagar one was also funded by the State Biodiversity Board. The Hyderabad one is a unique example. The city funded our work because they wanted us to help them out. So it's a conglomeration of various things, and we just look for funding and then we work with the cities. That's just the simple underlying.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Monalisa. Regarding the funding part, maybe sir can directly get in touch with her to know. I think it may be based on the size of the city also. Like Trivandrum and Cochin itself, there may be a lot of differences.
Yeah,
but they are
that
very
is true.
reasonable. They are a non-profit organization. They do it a very reasonable way. I have seen their work. Now I move on to Dr. Balaji Srinivasa Gopalan. He has raised his hand. Sir, would you like to ask any questions from the speaker, sir? Dr. Balaji? No? So, Kirti Saab, I think it was a very enlightening session from both the speakers. I think two different aspects of biodiversity conservation in the cities. So I am sure that you and your team of architects and engineers, town planners, I think will benefit out of this session. And I think
we will, Justin, sorry for interruption, we'll execute the things. Maybe Dr. Monalisa, she'll do the evaluation whether we are going in the right direction or not.
Correct.
I just must tell you, I started by saying that the Justin Saab, I look forward to learning. And believe me, I learned a lot today. Huge. As a matter of so much so that I won't be able to sleep well because there's so many ideas which are crossing my mind.
Correct.
And in terms of what to do and how to take this further.
Yeah.
Because it's a very rich, very enriching experience. And Justin Saab, let me end by, of course, thanking all three of you.
Yes.
But also requesting you to do 2 more webinars like this. You have lots of friends. You
We
know,
will do, Kirti sir. We will do. One a month we will do. One a month.
I'm a Kanjus Gujarati, and I think it's very hard to.
Well, actually, it is a sharing of knowledge only. We are ready to do. And these two people have done excellent work. That is why I thought that the first seminar on biodiversity can be with Monalisa and Debendra. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, Kirti sir. I finally ask you to conclude the session formally.
No, as I said, I would not want to conclude. I want this to go on for another 2 hours, but I know it's there's a limit to what we can do. But thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and organizing this. Thank you, Dalai sir, for this incredibly rich presentation you made. It has opened our eyes. And Monalisa ji, you have been amazing in terms of what you people are doing. And as a matter of fact, it gives a whole new dimension to look at cities and look at the positive dimension of cities. As a matter of fact, I thought you must have felt a bit awkward that I was talking about urban crisis and urban challenge, and we're not doing well. But your kind of examples are very special and very few, believe me. We have a lot more to do, but it has been, but very fact is if something positive happening, is very encouraging, and it's very, it gives us lots of hope. So thank you very much. And I just want to find a way, Monalisa ji, I'll contact you some other time. And Dalai Sahab, आपको तो मैं अहमदाबाद बुलाऊंगा और कुछ भाषण करेंगे.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
You can whenever you have a chance to visit Ahmedabad, you can meet Kirti sir.
I'll do that.
Renowned
I keep traveling, sir.
Yeah.
I keep traveling, sir. I'll definitely. It will be my great privilege to also to meet you, sir.
Yes. I knew Kirti sir for the last 15 years now. We worked together in Sri Lanka. That is how I came to know about.
Yeah, that's what
He's a very renowned architect. And he is 80 plus.
I'm 82.
82. But still he works every day from morning.
But he has the energy of 28.
Yeah. Even organizing these webinars is also a contribution because these are all on record now. So anyone can see all these presentations and benefit. Yeah.
And before I end, I must thank my colleague, which is Chitrakshi and Dr. Bhuma Raman.
Yes.
And they are the ones who really work behind the scene. They are the ones who make it possible. They are the ones who hide our mistakes. And they are the ones who essentially project us very positively. So thank you very much, Bhumaji. Thank you very much. Chitrakshi is very young. And she joined us about 6-7 months ago. And she's doing some amazingly wonderful work. So thank you, Chitrakshi. And thank you, Bhumaji.
Thank you, sir.
And just remember, tell me, when do we do the second one? Huh?
We'll do it, sir. We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll do it with a different theme. We'll have a different theme.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night, all. Good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Justin.
Yeah.
Good night. Thanks, everyone. Thank
Yeah.
Thank you, Dalai sir. Thank you, Monaji.
Thank you, sir.